Hi, this video is the first in what will become a series of short informational videos that I will have posted to this channel. I hope you'll check it on a regular basis and that you'll find some useful information in these videos. And of course, if you have any topics, other topics that you'd like to see a similar video done on, please feel free to contact me and we'll do what we can to get it out there for you. Some of you may know that over the last couple of months I've been busy helping my folks with their affairs. They moved into a nursing home in December and they just can't get out and about and do things anymore. So we all know that there are some documents, some legal documents that have to be put in place before we pass on to make it easier for our personal belongings and our family members that were left behind to get through a very tough time. So the first document obviously that you need is a will, and this will should clearly describe what your wishes are and what's to become of your personal effects and who gets what sort of a thing. The next one is an enduring power of attorney, and this document would be drawn up by a lawyer, and you would name a person who you trust to look after the management of your personal affairs. And in fact, they usually carry the words in there that this person would do or can do anything as though you were the one there doing it. Sounds pretty straightforward on that sentence, but you know what? It isn't. Far from it. One of the more common uses of a power of attorney would be for somebody to access your bank account to cover your bills while you're incapacitated. So the person you've designated, they take your power of attorney to a bank, and the bank most of the time will acknowledge that, yeah, you're at the right bank, but we can't talk to you about the accounts. We need to send the power of attorney away and have their lawyers look at it. This process takes on average of 5 business days. So it's certainly not immediate, and oftentimes family members aren't expecting that kind of a delay, and they may need to have access to money, especially if they don't have enough of their own to cover the bills. So like every other document drawn up by a lawyer, you get into the situation where other lawyers may not agree with what that power of attorney says. It's the old adage, right? You ask 10 lawyers the same question and you get 10 different answers. Well, it's no different with powers of attorney. So the bank's lawyers may come back and say, okay, yeah, this person can have access, but they may also restrict your access, which can be a complicated issue and sometimes cause a problem for you. So it's not a straightforward thing. There's a couple of ways, I guess, that you can make sure that your wishes are carried out immediately and that the bank doesn't have any real say there. But boy, does it ever require trust in the person that you are designating. Because one way around that is to take this person before you become ill, especially as we know, if you're aging, say in the case of an aging set of parents, they could take their designated person to the bank and have them put on the bank as a joint account holder. Not signing authority, that's a different beast. As a joint account holder, then they have given total access to everything that they have at the bank on that account, and the bank cannot interfere at that point. But as I say, you really, really have to trust this person. And where it comes in is let's take the case of a husband and wife. And let's say that there's a power of attorney in place for the husband, but not for the wife. And for the sake of discussion, let's say the husband dies first. So up until his death, if they were both in a nursing home, the person who has the power of attorney is able to conduct affairs for the couple and manage their bank accounts and pay their bills and do all of these things. But once the husband dies, his power of attorney dies with him. And if the wife doesn't have a power of attorney in place, life gets really complicated in a hurry. Because obviously there are still bills to be paid. There's tax returns to be filed. There's all kinds of things that have to take place. Pensions that have to be notified, some canceled, some not. So it gets complicated in there. And the trick to the whole thing is having this other person who also has joint custody or joint applicant or joint holder of these accounts, and then things will go fairly smooth, because again the bank can't interfere. I can't impress that upon you enough, and I hope I've explained it clearly, but if not, feel free to contact me and I'll try to clarify. But I'm no lawyer, right? So what I'm hoping here with this information is that I will raise enough questions in your mind that you will go out, you'll contact a lawyer and talk about your situation and get your will, your power of attorney in place, so that your family doesn't have to go through all of the legal hassles that can come if you don't. And by legal hassles, what I'm referring to is that in the case that I was just talking about, whoever was managing the affairs for the couple would have to, once the husband passed on, then that person, in order to be able to continue, would have to go to the court and apply for guardianship. And that often costs a few $1,000s. So it's quite a process, it's an expensive process, and it all can be handled quite smoothly if powers of attorney are put in place at the proper time. The third document is a personal care directive. And this is a real touchy one as well, because a lot of times people don't want to talk about their own dying. And but if they have the foresight to be able to do this and sit down and talk to the person who they are giving their personal care directive to, because what it allows that person to make a decision for their health care when they're not able to make it for themselves, either because they're in a coma, because they no longer have the mental capacity to do so, or they simply just not thinking clearly and not able to do it. So you need to have a person who is strong, sensible, and can handle pressure. So you sit down with that person and you tell them the things that are important to you and what quality of life that you wish to have, and trust them to make the right decisions when the time comes, based on the information that you've given them when you were well. So that's it, folks. Those three things, can't really stress enough how important it is to have them in place. Again, being a real estate agent, and my real estate practice is done through shining light on real estate best practices, and I will continue to do that. And most of these videos will carry real estate situations, but this one is super important and certainly touches me and my family right now. And I know it's going to touch you and your families eventually, so please plan for it now, and things will go a lot better. And again, my name is Glenn Musgrave, and thank you so much. Bye for now.